Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. A similar tension between Ukraine and Russia is taking place in the South China Sea. That long-standing tension between Taiwan and China has come to a head in recent months in the midst of provocations, such as China's entry into Taiwanese territorial waters, and the violation of Taiwan's airspace by Chinese jets. The U.S. has taken a side of this tension, thanks to its commercial and military partnership with Taiwan. As the tensions between the two countries started to rise, the U.S. and Taiwan made a series of arms deals, aimed at strengthening Taiwan's defense and at least resisting a possible Chinese attack. Thanks to the agreements made in this way, the USA is currently both supplying weapons and training to the Taiwanese army. In addition, the Philippines, a valuable ally of the United States, is also subject to violations by China, the claim of the Philippines in the South China Sea. But China's defense of the entire sea is its own, caused an increase in the tension between the two countries. So in this video, we're going to tell you what's going on in the South China Sea. Let's examine together how China, Taiwan, the Philippines, and the USA got into a Mexican stalemate. The United States has expressed support for the Philippines after Beijing violated freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. Senior U.S. officials are on the subject. The U.S. stands with the Philippines in the face of the People's Republic of China Coast Guard's continued violation of freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. Images and videos recently released in the media. A stark reminder of China's harassment and intimidation of Philippine ships, such as Philippine ships routinely patrolling their exclusive economic zones. The U.S. urged Beijing to stop its provocative and unsafe behavior and said it would continue to monitor these interactions closely. The United States stands with its Filipino allies in maintaining the rules-based international maritime order, and reaffirms that no armed attack on Philippine Armed Forces public ships or aircraft can be carried out in the Pacific, including the South China Sea. The statement comes after the Philippines accused China on Friday of using offensive tactics at sea, after a Chinese Coast Guard vessel intercepted a Philippine patrol vessel in a disputed shallow area in the South China Sea last week. Both countries claim rights in the disputed South China Sea, where tensions persist between Manila and Beijing. So what was the U.S. move after the statements of the U.S. officials? The U.S. 7th Fleet in the region was deployed to the region between the Philippines and Taiwan. The fact that some ships of the U.S. 7th Fleet went to the region, especially from the Taiwan Strait, was interpreted by experts as intimidating China. After this transition, the Chinese People's Army seemed quite panicked. We can understand this panic from the statements made by China. China has described the passage of U.S. warships through the Taiwan Strait as an exaggerated passage. According to the U.S. Army's 7th Fleet, the Ally Burke-class guided missile destroyer, USS Milius, made a routine Taiwan Strait crossing through waters, where freedoms of navigation and overflights on the high seas apply in accordance with international law. The ship passed through a corridor in the Bosphorus beyond the territorial waters of any coastal state. In response, the Chinese People's Liberation Army Eastern Command said it was closely monitoring the warship's passage through the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. Navy has accelerated the passage of a USS Milius guided missile destroyer through the Taiwan Strait, said PA Eastern Front Command spokesman Senior Colonel Xia. The same warship sailed in the South China Sea, triggering joint flights of jets and expeditions of Navy frigates by Beijing to monitor the U.S. Navy destroyer. The passage of the U.S. warship through the Taiwan Strait made China realize that it was the U.S. against both Taiwan and the Philippines. The USA attaches greater importance to the security of these two island countries and continues its policy in this direction. These events coincide with Beijing's warning that rocket debris may fall near Taiwan. Taiwan's Ministry of Defense has confirmed that it has detected some debris falling into Taiwan's northern waters. Beijing launched the F-3G satellite interspace over the weekend using its homemade Long March 4B rocket. Taiwan said the satellite's flight path passed over northern airspace. Air traffic in the northern sea regions near Taiwan were also temporarily closed. While China temporarily banned the passage of any ships during the launch, Taiwan's Ministry of Defense said 18 Chinese aircraft and 4 Navy ships were detected around Taiwan. In the statement, it was stated that 4 of the Chinese jets had passed the Air Defense Identification Zone. Tensions between Washington and Beijing continued as the United States accelerated the formation of coalitions in the wider Asia-Pacific region to counter China's expanding military and economic influence. China has recently demanded that the United States immediately cease arms sales to Taiwan and military contact with the island nation. We strongly urge the U.S. side to fully acknowledge the high sensitivity of the Taiwan issue and the complexity and seriousness of the current situation. In the Taiwan Strait said, Senior Colonel Tan Kaif, spokesman for the Ministry of National Defense of China. The official's remarks come ahead of a visit by a group of U.S. defense companies to Taiwan next week to discuss bilateral defense cooperation issues such as the joint production of drones and munitions. China describes the Taiwan problem as a purely internal matter of China and does not allow any foreign intervention. Representatives from 25 U.S. defense contractors will arrive in Taiwan on Tuesday to attend an industry forum and meet with local officials, according to an unnamed Taiwanese military source. According to China, this move has always been zealous for U.S. military-industrial complexes to sell ammunition, spark conflict and chaos, and make staggering profits around the world. China also described the actions of Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party as only bringing an untold disaster to Taiwanese citizens and as despicable as putting the cat next to an aquarium full of fish, reiterating that no one or any power can shake the unwavering determination of the Chinese people and will resolutely defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Chinese government urged the U.S. side to adhere to the One China principle. So why exactly isn't China satisfied? China sees the island of Taiwan, which declared its independence, as part of its territory. It also urges Washington to abide by the provisions of the 3 Sino-U.S. joint declarations, deal with Taiwan-related issues, cautiously avoid involvement in the Taiwan issue, and end military contact with Taiwan as well as arms sales to the Taiwanese region. The People's Liberation Army of China stated that its troops will as always pay close attention to the situation in the Taiwan Strait, will always remain on high alert, and warned they will take the necessary measures in accordance with the law to resolutely counter any attack. Taiwan's independence, separatist activities, and foreign interventions firmly threatened China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. According to the military, China's claim on Taiwan, based on historical foundations and Taiwan's declaration of independence, brought the USA into the middle of this crisis. While the U.S. does not want any tension in the Pacific, the USA stands by Taiwan against the danger of a possible attack by China on Taiwan, and the outbreak of a second Ukrainian war. It is not known how long this tension will last, but the tension between the USA and China is the harbinger of a new Cold War. So what do you think about this subject? Thank you for watching the video. We value your opinion. Please comment, share them with us, and thank you so much once again for watching this video. See you in my next video.